Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for joining us here on this special CNBC TV 18 show. Young Turks is a show that I've run for the past 13 years on CNBC TV 18. It is India's and perhaps the world's longest-running show focusing on young entrepreneurs. So it is our privilege and our honor today to have in our midst a man who's been described as a provocative entrepreneur, as a business leader who you cannot ignore, as a celebrity TV host, a best-selling author, and someone who other authors have written many books about, a man who is hopefully going to share his lessons for success and leadership here with us on Lessons in Leadership. Donald Trump, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18, and thank you very much for paying India a visit and for investing in India. Let me start by quoting you back to you. And I think this was in your book, Think Like a Champion. You said, champions think big. Champions work in a big-time way. I also heard you say this morning that you're a lot more conservative, or you've learned to be a lot more conservative. How is the new conservative Donald Trump thinking champion-like, or thinking in a champion big-time way today?
Well, I guess over the years you do somewhat become a little bit more conservative. I've had a great career. It's been amazing. And in the 80s it was good. Now it's better than it's ever been. The company is bigger and stronger. And as you know, you see the numbers. And it's been an amazing thing. And we're here today in Mumbai doing a spectacular job with the Lota Group. And we're really happy about it. But over the years, as you have great victories and a couple of defeats, and hopefully they're only minor defeats, you learn to be a little bit more conservative. And we've built up tremendous cash reserves and lots of other things that, frankly, when I was in my 20s, like so many people in this great sold-out room, when I was in 20s and 30s, I wasn't thinking about cash reserves.
What were you thinking about?
I was thinking only about massive success. I didn't care about anything. And as you get older, you realize that sometimes, you know, the old expression, cash is king, and sometimes that's true, but it certainly makes your life a lot easier. So in the early 90s, when the markets collapsed, the real estate markets collapsed, many of my friends and many of my enemies, frankly, those I didn't mind, they went bankrupt and they were gone, never to be seen again. Most of them never to be seen again. And I fought through it. I never went bankrupt. And, you know,
but you did file.
I never filed bankruptcy, no. No. Me? No. Mm-hmm. No, I never. No, I have. Over the years, I've had individual. You know, it's a funny thing about that. I'd buy a company, I'd throw it into a chapter, I'd negotiate a great deal, and people would say, "Oh, Trump went bankrupt." I mean, it's crazy. But no, we've had a couple of companies that did, like everybody else, like almost every major. You look at Carl Icahn, you look at Henry Kravis, you look at Leon Black, you look at so many different people, and they've all used those laws to their advantage. Unfortunately, when I've used them, it's, oh, Trump files for that. No, I never went bankrupt.
If I were to ask you the single biggest reason for you to want to get out of bed every morning and get yourself to work, what is it that drives you today?
Well, it's a great question. I say it all the time. It's because I love doing it. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I've been here. I left New York. It was about an 18-hour flight. We took a little bit longer way. We decided not to fly over Ukraine. Does that make sense to you folks? I said, how much longer will it be? He said, 45 minutes. I said, this is a 45 minutes. I don't mind, okay? I told the pilot, I said, keep flying. But, you know, it was a long flight, probably 16, 17 hours. And I come here, and from 7 in the morning till now, we've been doing nonstop work and interviews and lots of things, talking about the great job we're building. And, you know, I enjoy doing it. If I didn't enjoy it, you couldn't do it. I mean, it would be physically impossible to do it. You have an energy level that only works. You know, if you don't have energy, you have nothing. And I see some people, they have no energy. And I say they'll never make it. They're never going to make it. And I see other people, they have the energy. Now, you need the brain and you need the ideas. You can't have a lot of energy and bad ideas and not too smart. But you need energy levels to be successful. And I've seen it so often where people are smart. I've gone to school. I went to the Wharton School of Finance, which I consider the best school, best business school. And in the class, I had lots of people. And it's sort of interesting because I've been able to watch a whole career now because I'm at a stage where I've seen people go and, you know. And a lot of the people that weren't, in my opinion, the best or the smartest became the most successful because they, right from the beginning, they had much more energy and drive. You had others that were really smart academically. They did fantastically well, but they didn't have that drive, and they had a lack of ability in one thing. They quit. They didn't have that stick-to-itiveness that you need. So, I mean, I see a lot of qualities. I've watched it over a period of a lifetime. the people that have the energy, the people that have the drive, and the people that don't stop, that don't quit, those are the people that really succeed.
I also want to talk to you about something that you've said. You say if you label something a fear, then it creates fear, when sometimes it's not a fear, but a concern. And the same applies to business. So if there's no fear in your life at this point in time, what are you most concerned about?
Look, I just like to enjoy my life. I mean, I'm having a great time. No, but that's truly what it's all about. Success is about enjoyment. Are you happy? A lot of people I know are very, look, I know the same people you do, the most successful people. I'm one of them. And I'll tell you what, if I know people that are incredibly successful economically, and they're miserable people, they're unhappy about every aspect of their life, I don't really consider them that successful. Now, some of the people in this room are, very money-oriented and all, and I think that's fine. And it certainly makes life a lot easier having that financial success. But I know the most successful people. They live in my buildings, they see me, they come to my office, they talk to me. Some are friends of mine, some are enemies of mine. I will tell you that the most successful people, some of them, not all of them, but are very unhappy people. I don't consider them successful people. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Less so for CNBC, but for psychology,
No, but really money doesn't drive you any longer?
It drives me. And it ends
up... You've had run-ins with a bunch of people on how much your net worth is really worth. Yeah. So are you really trying to tell me that money doesn't drive you anymore?
What I don't like is when people lie. I mean, somebody wrote a book that my net worth is, and he knew the answer was something else. You have a lot of people that don't tell the truth. And I say, that's okay. But when people lie about it, and when they know, then you always like to challenge. I don't like people that lie. Why
do you think they want to lie about you in specific? Because that's the second reference that you've made to the media wanting to pull you down. They want to lie about this.
I will say this. I've met many great people in the media, tremendous people, writers, etc., journalists, and they're very honorable. I've also met some of the most dishonest people I've ever met in the media. I've met some really terrible people. Scum, absolute scum.
That's because they didn't say what you wanted them to say?
No, that's not right. No, because they lied. I've met many people in the media that know they're doing the wrong story, but it's a better story if they write it the way. And I say, that was the wrong story. They say, well, my editors wanted it that way because it's a better story. And it was a lie. But I've met some very great journalists and some very fair journalists, and some tough. I don't mind, if I get criticized for something, I don't mind if it's honest. But if it's dishonest knowingly...
Who decides? You decide if it's honest or dishonest,
right? Yeah, because I'm the one that knows.
So you're the judge and the jury.
You know who else knows? The writer knows. And a lot of times the writers know it's dishonest. I've had people tell me, I know it's wrong, but it's a better story. That's dishonest. And I don't like those kind of people.
You also say it's very important to be your own best friend. If you can't say great things about yourself, who do you think will? So don't be afraid to toot your own horn when you've done something worth tooting about. Is there a downside to that? The conversation that we just finished having, you don't see somebody...
That's the downside.
That is the downside,
People
isn't it
don't like you for it, but who cares? People don't like you for it. But it is true. I mean,
but clearly you
tooting your own horn,
but clearly
if you can do it in a nice way, but telling people of your achievement, who else is going to talk about it? If you're successful, if this man's successful and nobody knows it, and he wants to show his success, I guess he's got to toot his own horn, and let him do it. It can be done tastefully. It can be done nicely. Sometimes I don't always do it tastefully, but that's okay. But if you've had a certain success and you want people to know about it, I think it's fine to toot your own horn.
But the downside of it is also that
people
you start believing...
with you.
No, not just that people get upset with you, but it's also that you start believing in your myth, and you perhaps stop taking feedback from whether it's your customers or your clients. You
want to talk about yourself truthfully. I mean, you have to understand yourself, and you want to speak truthfully about yourself. And if it's not going to be truthful, what's the purpose of it? But I don't mind a person that, look, they talk about ego, the word ego. They say, I have ego. Who has ego? But show me a person without ego, and I'll show you a loser almost every time. I mean, you need ego to drive you. You need ego for success. And it's very rare. And, I guess it can happen. Maybe inheritance or something. Show me somebody that has no ego who's become very successful. It just, generally speaking, you'll give me a couple of names. Somebody said, what about Mother Teresa? I said, okay, you got me. But she probably had a much bigger ego than you have any idea, believe me. I guarantee she had plenty of ego. But it is true. I mean, people without ego don't succeed.
you know, we're talking about ego, we're talking about the next phase in your career and so on and so forth. And every couple of years, there's this talk about, are you going to run for president? Are you serious about your political aspirations?
Are you
going to run for governor or not?
You know what?
Are you serious about your political aspirations?
I am. I mean, I'm serious, but I love what I'm doing. I mean, my biggest roadblock is I really love what I do, and I'm good at it. And, I mean, we're doing things all over the world, and there's such incredible projects. Today we're in Mumbai, but such incredible projects. I love what I'm doing. I was leading in the polls against Romney, against everybody. I endorsed him, and I don't know what happened to him. Last month, he didn't do a very good job because that was an election that should have been won. Would I rather be doing what I'm doing right now, meaning buildings, which I love, and what I do best? Look, we've had tremendous success with The Apprentice. It became the #1 show on television. It's all over the world. It's great. We just finished another version, season 14. Hard to believe. And you know, in your business,
it is.
You don't get ratings.
Yeah, I
you don't get ratings. It's over.
Yeah.
And you know how hot. So I did a book called Trump, The Art of the Deal. It was the #1 selling business book of all time, said to be the biggest business book of all time, The Art of the Deal.
Yeah.
So it's copied all over the world. So I've had great success, but I really enjoy doing that. Now, would I enjoy being a politician? Probably less. I do see so many bad things happening with our country, and for stupid reasons. I mean, just stupid reasons.
What's the stupidest reason?
Well, I'll give you an example. We have a president today who's on the front page of every paper playing golf with a big smile on his face, walking down a fairway, and he's bombing people. Not a very strong bombing, but that's okay. But he's bombing people in another country. I mean, we're sort of at war, and the whole world is collapsing. And I'm a big golf fan. I'm a good golfer. I've won club championships and all that stuff. And I love golf. I think golf is great. I think golf is a great thing for business. In fact, Obama should be playing not with the same 3 friends that he knew for a long time. He should be playing with the people in Congress and make deals. But when you're in a position like the United States where there's nothing but turmoil, war, killings, mass killings all over the world is collapsing on his watch. You shouldn't be photographed walking down a fairway with a big smile on your face. In November, we have a big election coming up.
Yes.
That election is going to determine a lot. The Senate, Congress, it's going to be very interesting. I think the Republicans will take the Senate. That's a big thing because that hasn't happened in a long time. The reason they're going to is because Obama is doing such a poor job that people are just tired. They're going to vote for Republicans. So let's see, Obamacare being a disaster, et cetera. We'll see what happens.
So you haven't made up your mind just yet?
No, after that, I will make up my mind, sometime after the Senate. Possibility
of a woman in the White House?
Well, you have Hillary is leading in the polls against other Democratic folks. But, you know, don't forget Hillary, who's a friend of mine. I get along with her very well. Members of my club in Westchester. He's a terrific guy. He was very nice to me. He said, Donald's a friend of mine. He's a very good golfer. I thought that was a very nice statement. I like the golfer even more. But the truth is that she was leading the last time very substantially, and it was supposed to be her turn, and Obama came along and beat her. So you never know. The polls are very early, but right now it looks like somebody will be running against Hillary, and she won't be easy to beat. I think in a certain way she will be much tougher to beat than Obama, and I could give you lots of reasons why, but I think Obama should have been beaten in a second term. And unfortunately, the Republicans blew it. They really blew a great opportunity. Hillary was supposed to get that nomination. Now she's supposed to get this nomination. Let's see what happens.
So you will make up your mind in November?
Not in November, but sometime after the elections in November, yeah.
Would you rather be the most respected businessman, or would you rather be the richest businessman?
Look, money is interesting because it's sort of a scorecard. That's all money is. I like to enjoy my life. I mean, more so than either of those, I want to enjoy my life. I want to have a good life. I want to put people to work. I want to create a lot of jobs, which I do. I create a lot of jobs. I'm a real job creator, tens of thousands of jobs over the years. And, you know, that means education, that means hospitals, that means medical, you know, it means a lot of
So
good
why
things.
do you then provoke such intense reactions? Why do people then say, boycott Macy's because they're selling Donald Trump ties?
Well, and those ties are doing fantastically well. But they do say that because of my open stance against, let's say, Obama. And I have to say about Obama, look, if he were doing a great job as president, I would be the happiest guy. I'm a Republican, but I would love to see anybody, Democrat, be a great president, because that would be good for the country. And I would say he is doing a great job, but he's incapable of doing it. He just is. He's proven that. He's incapable of doing it. I would love to say he's doing a great job. So when I attack Obama, they said, oh, he must be a racist, because that's whenever they call Bill Clinton a racist. You understand that.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton is not a racist. But they attacked him and they said he's a racist. So anytime you attack Obama, you get accused of being a racist. So they said, oh, I'm a racist, therefore I shouldn't be able to sell ties in Macy's. Well, nobody believed it, and the ties are through the roof, and it does very well. Another one is Serta mattresses. I mean, my primary business, of course, as you know, is real estate. But I do other things. And Serta mattresses, all of the celebrities that they had, they gave them all up because I blew them away. Why? I don't know. You'll have to tell me.
But, you know, from ties to mattresses, and they may all be best-selling items in their categories, but don't you worry about line extending the Trump brand?
No, I don't think about it, to be honest with you.
Why not?
Whatever it is, hey, whatever it is, it is. Look, I tell people, sometimes people try so hard that they're incapable of movement. I do things. When I did The Apprentice, I was told by the biggest agent in Hollywood, let's call him Jim, Donald, I don't want you doing that show. It's going to be a massive failure. I don't want you doing it. I heard you made a deal with NBC and Mark Burnett. I said I did. I shook his hand. Well, I don't want you doing it. I said, I can't do that because I'm actually a very honorable person. You know, a lot of people don't know that. I'm an honorable guy. When I shake a hand, it does mean something. I said, Jim, I can't do that. I can't. He said, look, there's never been a business show in prime time that's made it. This was 10 years ago. And we just finished season 14, taping it. It's going on soon. But there's never been a show that's made it in business with a business thing, and you understand that.
Yeah.
There's never been. He said, it will fail, and besides that, 97% of the shows that go on television fail. I said, why didn't you tell me those facts before I shook hands? He said, you have to break the deal. You'll be embarrassed. I said, I can't break the deal. I shook hands. So I did the show, went to #1 show on television. Started at 10, went to 8, went to 7, went to 4, went to 2, and went to 1. So all of a sudden, I'm a movie star. I have the #1 show on television. I say, wow, this is great. And I get a call from the head of NBC. And it's my birthday. He said, Donald, I'd like to, I didn't even know him. He said, Donald, I'd like to wish you a happy birthday. 7 in the morning. My wife said, who is that? I said, the president of NBC. I said, I must be a star. Then what happened? I get a call from Jim, my agent. He said, Donald, congratulations. You just made #1. You're the #1 show on television. I said, I know. Well, you didn't want me to do it. He said, I would really like to see you. Why? I think I'm entitled to a commission. I said, what do you mean you're entitled to a commission? You didn't want me to do the show? He said, no, I think. I said, how much do you want? He said, would $3 or $4 million be fair? I said, Jim, you're fired. That was the end of that. But you know, just getting back to when I did The Apprentice, everybody said, don't do it. It's not going to work. You're going to embarrass yourself. In fact, it was sort of funny because when I did it, they signed me to a 1-year contract, unlike you, where they have probably all sorts of options. They have you tied up, right?
No.
Okay. Well, in my case, they did one show because they figured it was one and go, right? It was going to go on, go off, and that.
Yeah.
They didn't even waste the ink on the options. They wish they did that because they paid me tens of millions of dollars for the show. Who knew this was going to be? So what I do is I go by my instinct. I go by my gut. If I want to do something, I do it. If I don't want to do something, I don't do it.
So coming back to the issue of branding, because you're selling the idea of exclusivity, you're selling the idea of luxury, and the guys who are paying top dollar to buy your properties then don't want to see people wearing a Donald Trump tie or sleeping on a Donald Trump mattress. Don't you believe that there is a danger there then of line extending yourself?
What's the danger? Okay, so the tie doesn't sell, the mattress, it's not danger. Danger is like at a much higher level than that, okay? That's not danger. But, you know, it's interesting with branding. Somebody asked me the question today, because, you know, most of the jobs I do myself, like if it's around New York, when I come to Mumbai or when I come to places like Rio, we have great partners. And they're fantastic partners. But I can't build in Dubai. First of all, in Mumbai, and we're doing a great job in Dubai with another great partner, as you probably have heard. Fantastic partner. But when you're that far away from home and you have a problem with a contractor, you don't want to be in New York and you have to travel to India to work out a deal with a contractor. But when it comes to branding, branding is a very interesting thing. But I said today, it's, to me, more about the quality of what I do. I build great buildings. And I believe those buildings really speak for themselves. And you can't fool the public by putting the name Trump on a building, and it's not a great building, and all of a sudden it's supposed to be a success. They'll give it the public is very smart. They'll give it a good, solid look, and maybe that's the advantage I have over anybody else. But in the end, it's about quality. You have to give them the product. And I feel strongly about that. I feel so strongly about that. And what I do best is build. A lot of the builders in New York will tell you Trump is the best builder. I still think it's about, the branding is very important, but I still think ultimately it's about quality. You've got to do quality work. And to me, that's more important than the branding.